Imagine like an Earth that doesn't end in fire or flood, but it actually ends in intelligence.
Right.
Like humanity achieves immortality, we can redesign flesh, cross galaxies, but we just end up trapped in these metallic cities with all the data in the universe and, absolutely zero soul.
Yeah, it's quite the bleak setup.
It really is. So, welcome to this deep dive into Dr. Pramod Ambadasrao Pawar's 2026 work, The Pramod Effect. Today, we're on a mission to unpack how this totally unique text uses, like a wild mix of sci-fi poetry and metaphysical math to cure our modern info overload and fragmented thinking.
And to jump right in, the text starts with this really vivid escape from that dying hyper-intelligent Earth.
Right.
I mean, 7 awakened souls literally leave to travel across different dimensions.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Right, so the poetic half of the book tracks them. One soul goes to a heaven of unfinished bliss, another drops into a hell forged from chains of memory, and one is even trapped in the Bermuda Triangle.
Of all places, right.
Exactly, where the sea literally imprisons time itself.
It really reminds me of navigating a massive virtual reality simulation.
Oh, how so?
Well, you jump from a serene garden level to, like, a fiery dungeon level, and on the surface they look completely disconnected. But if you strip away the graphics, the underlying source code is exactly the same.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, the separation is just an illusion.
And that shared source code is really the ultimate point of the journey. I mean, the author argues that all those wild, diverse experiences spring from just one continual movement of consciousness. Time just makes them look separate,
Right. So if we accept that all these dimensions are running on the same source code, the next logical question for you is, what exactly is that code? Like, how is it written in our physical reality?
Well, Dr. Pawar maps this out using a concept he calls trans-deconstruction.
Okay, break that down for me.
Sure. So traditional philosophy often like to take a watch apart just to see all the individual gears, right?
Yeah, like postmodernism, basically.
Yep. Exactly. But trans-deconstruction doesn't just dismantle the watch. It takes it apart specifically to find the single piece of metal that every gear was originally forged from. He calls this the unified monistic center.
I have to admit, I really struggled with the math he uses to get to that center.
The equation, yeah, it totally throws people off.
It does. He leans on this core formula for unity, which is 1 minus 1 equals 0 equals 1. But, I mean, if I have an apple and I take it away, I have 0 apples.
Right, you don't have some magical unified apple.
Exactly. So how does a void suddenly become a 1 again?
Well, it requires rethinking 0 entirely. In this framework, zero-ness isn't a vacuum. It's not an empty fruit bowl. It is pure potential and supreme equilibrium.
Like noise-canceling headphones?
Oh, that's a really good way to look at it.
Yeah, because the sound waves are still actively hitting your ear, but they neutralize each other so you experience silence. The energy didn't actually vanish.
That paradox is crucial here. When opposing forces, like light and dark or 1 and -1, meet, they neutralize.
Right.
And that neutralization, the 0, reveals the foundational unity of existence. So the energy that remains when the push and pull stop is the stable center.
The final one in his equation.
Exactly, that's the one.
Okay, so we have this grand mathematical theory of multiverses and unity. But how does this actually help you when you're, like, stuck in traffic or you hit a major roadblock at work today?
This brings us to the science of monocontergy. You can kind of think of it as the physics of spiritual energy.
The physics of spiritual energy, got it.
It argues that just like kinetic energy moves physical objects, monocontergy is the invisible current driving our thoughts.
So when you hit that roadblock at work, what's happening?
You're experiencing a disruption in what he calls the Pramod superconscious cycle.
Which, let's be honest, usually just feels like massive frustration.
Ordinarily, yes. We view delays and internal tension as failures. But the text introduces this concept of shadow awareness.
Shadow awareness.
Yeah, so instead of seeing a delay as a brick wall, the text asks us to see it as a coiled spring. The friction you feel is literally kinetic potential building up.
Wait, really? So you aren't being stopped?
No, you are being loaded. That tension is shadow energy carrying hidden potential.
Wow.
By recognizing this, you stop fighting the roadblock and consciously realign that tension into constructive energy.
That completely flips the script on how we process stress. It really drives home the core mandate of the text, I think.
That knowledge is useless without synthesis.
Exactly. We have to stop seeing things as isolated problems because separation is an illusion. Like, the text commands us get up and get going forever.
It is a really powerful call to action. And it leads to one final concept, the transwave theory.
Oh, right, where the text proposes that our emotional frequencies, our senti waves, persist beyond the physical body.
Yes.
Meaning our feelings don't just happen inside our heads and vanish. They act as actual waves of energy that ripple out and alter physical reality.
Because everything is interconnected energy. Every emotion emits a frequency that permanently shapes that unified center we just talked about.
Which leaves a massive question for you to ponder.
It really does.
If your emotions continue outward as eternal physical waves, what eternal impact is the exact emotion you are feeling right now having on the unseen universe?